Alright everybody, I know it has been a while since we last did a match review on the channel and I'm happy to be back doing another one. Unfortunately, the result didn't quite go our way, but I don't think it was the worst thing in the whole wide world, as I think there was some more positives than negatives. So let's jump into it. This is going to be your guys' match review for Iran's 2-1 loss against Nigeria in their friendly in preparations for the 2026 World Cup. Before I jump into the review, my thoughts, all of that stuff, I will talk about the Dennis Eckert stuff at the end of this video, because I know a plethora of you were commenting in my last video asking about, Shine, can you talk about Eckert? What's the news on him? What's the details? What's the lore when it comes to Dennis Eckert and him representing the Iranian national team at this World Cup? I'll talk about all of that at the end of the video, but before all of that, I do want to mention and give praise to the players before the match, before kickoff, where all the players held up a school bag in homage for all of the school children that were affected by the bombings that happened in Iran. I thought that was something very beautiful that the players did for this match. But now talking about the match. First and foremost, there was the starting lineup, and all in all, I have to say, I know this is very unlike me, but I did quite like the lineup. It was very similar to how I would have lined up the Iranian national team offensively anyway. I think the offense was good. You saw Taremi, Golizadeh, Mohebi, Gorbani, Qudus. Like, all in all, I thought those were the personnels that you would want to see start, because those are the players that would likely start at the World Cup that I think would give us the best outcome to win games. Because all things considered, there was no Azmoun, no Hossein Nejad, and in that circumstance, I would start those players if those two players were not playing or not available or not called up. You know what I mean? The defense, on the other hand, was the area where I was like, Qalenoui, you almost did it. You almost put up a really good lineup, all things considered, for this friendly. I do like a lot that he played that 5 in the back system. I know a lot of us would be like, no, Sean, 5 in the back,
it's cursed because we got absolutely destroyed by England when we played 5 in the back.
that was just the one outlier. I don't think we should put all of our weight from that one match against England. I think there was a lot more that was going on than just a bad personnel selection, maybe the wrong lineup choices, wrong formation that we played in that game. I think 5 in the back is OG Iran. That is our bread and butter. I think that brings the best out of our players because of the amount of deficiencies we have defensively. We have some solid wingbacks, like Milad Mohammadi is pacey and can get down the line. Rami Rezayan can get down the line, is good offensively. I don't think they're complete left backs, right backs, but as left wing backs and as right wing backs, playing with those 3 center backs, their deficiencies are not going to be as noticeable, and we're playing a lot more to their strengths and to Iran's strengths if they can bomb down the wing, get good crosses in, be another offensive option for us. We kind of saw that a little bit in this match with Mohammadi. We were very much abusing that left side that he was on in the first half. He was bombing down that left wing back spot, causing Nigeria some decent issues in the game. So I do like that Qalenoui was experimenting. I think that was a very big positive. My only problem was his selections in that defensive line. At this point, Baravant's the starting goalkeeper. I'm not fighting this losing battle in the goalkeeping spot. So that's not what I'm talking about when it comes to the defensive line. But guys like Kanani, Khalilzadeh, we've gone on and on about this. You called up a guy like Fala, who's arguably been one of the best defenders in 2026 in the PGPL. Why not play him? I think you can play one of Khalilzadeh and Kanani, and based off of form, I think Khalilzadeh, as much as it pains me to say it, is the better option, but it's not saying much. It's like comparing oranges to apples, so it doesn't really matter. I like that you had Yousefi at the right wingback spot. Similarly to Baranvant, I think Milad Mohammadi at left wingback isn't the worst thing in the world. I think we saw some positives there, and it's just a losing battle because we don't really have that many good left backs to anyway begin with. I think if Qalenoui just started Fala, or even a bonus on top of that, started Zadeh, actually called him up, instead of guys like Kanani and Khalilzadeh, I would have loved this lineup. But I have to give credit where credit is due. Offensively, I think he set us up almost perfectly. I think playing that 5 in the back was a great idea, a great experiment. That's the point of these friendlies, is to experiment, try different things, have different tactics, which we all have criticized Qalenoui to the hills about when it comes to him as a manager. He doesn't experiment. He hasn't tried to implement different tactics, formations, personnels, and he did that a little bit here. Do I think it's a little bit too late? Like, you're doing this just a couple months before the World Cup? Yes, but I guess beggars can't be choosers. So I will take it. I do like those things. I think those were a lot of positives from this friendly. When it comes to first talking about the positives, I think Golizadeh looked really good. As I mentioned earlier on, I think those wing backs, Mohammadi bombing on that left-hand side, really created a different dimension for us offensively. And I think really carved out and made things difficult for Nigeria's defense. And I think when you bring in a guy like Ramin Rezaeian over Yousefi, who I would prefer Yousefi 9 times out of 10, but Ramin Rezaeian, as much as he is old and I think he is past it, I think really suits that right wing back position. We've seen how good he can be offensively in the PGPL, in Asian Champions League, for Iran at World Cups. So if you're going to implement that 5 in the back system, it kind of rejuvenates and brings guys like Haj Safi, Rezaeian back into the mix. But if you go with a 4-back formation, I think guys like Moharami, a different left back, be it Saifi or Gudarzi, would be better options. But the 5 in the back brings in a whole different type of discussion for all the wingbacks. When it comes to negatives, I think it's just kind of the same old stuff we're going to talk about. Kanani, Khalilzadeh were not good. They got burnt. They were probably the biggest reasons we conceded our goals, gave away the best chances to Nigeria. I think Baranvant could have done a way better job on the first goal. Kanani getting cooked on that side. I mean, it's just Dumb and Dumber. It is just like water is wet. Like, what is new with these defenders, with the defensive issues that we have? Lukman, Simon, we're absolutely tearing Iran a new one. But again, these are all things I'm okay with happening in friendlies. Like, this is just a small sample size to what we might see in games like against Egypt, like against Belgium, where there is a plethora more of better offensive players. Like for Egypt, Marmoush, Salah can really burn us like we saw today with Lukman, Iwobi, Simon. And then Belgium, I mean, Doku is like a tier, a class, a whole other category above these type of guys I just mentioned. He's gonna absolutely burn us a new one if we don't get a lot of these things sorted out. And that's why I like this 5 in the back option, because I think it helps mitigate some of those defensive issues. But you gotta play the right personnel, because Kanani and Khalilzadeh are gonna get burnt. But if you bring in guys like Zadeh or Falah to help maybe complement some of that lack of athleticism, but adding their experience with younger guys like Falah and Zadeh. But I think it is definitely something that Qalanoui should experiment with in the match against Costa Rica. I do think we got burnt in certain areas in the first half. I don't think it was great, but the positives was we did create some decent half chances because of the wingbacks. The second half, I think we played a lot better. I think we definitely could have drawn the game. I think the result doesn't really matter. We lose 2-1. It's a respectable loss, honestly. And again, my main takeaway is I don't mind if we lose friendlies. I don't mind it. This is the time to experiment. This is the time to get exposed. I've talked about in numerous match reviews. These are the times to get these mistakes, bad moments out the way here and now. I don't care about good friendly results, because we've seen it in the previous World Cup in 2022. We had good friendlies. It didn't really amount to anything because we saw mistakes that we didn't get exposed for in those friendlies. I want us to get exposed because we can learn from it, learn from our mistakes, and actually implement at this World Cup. I think we were a little bit lucky too that Osimhen didn't play, because I think that would have been a whole different point of discussion depending on how they would have lined up with Osimhen, because that guy is a killer. That's a top class striker, and I would have loved to have seen him play in this game and see how he tested our defense. But I think we did see that sample size with guys like Lukman, Simon, Iwobi. Those are all still really, really good attackers that play in the top teams in the world. Obviously, we get a goal back from Taremi. He should have probably won a PK, but you could definitely tell Taremi was looking for the penalty, not taking away that it should have been a PK nonetheless, but he looked okay all in all. He did score a goal. It was called back for a handball. So all in all, there were chances, there was mistakes made by Nigeria, but you can tell with all the stuff going on politically right now, it is playing a huge mental toll on these players, especially those ones that play domestically. they haven't played in like almost a month. So you can tell there's a lack of fitness, a lack of cohesion, a lack of chemistry from some of these guys. With the more higher profile players like the Taremis, Jahanbash, the Quduses, you could see there is a bit of a mental toll, some sluggishness because of what's going on, the amount of things they have to think about. Again, it's like very similar to 2022 World Cup, just too much on their mind instead of focusing on the football. But there's not a whole lot we can do about all of that stuff. But that is definitely something I gotta talk about because it was so evident in this match. So I will say, to wrap it up, I think there was honestly more positives than negatives in regards to we saw some good experimental stuff from Qaranouny. I think he was setting up the team a little bit better than we have seen in the past. I like that he changed up the formation, tried something different. I just think when it comes to defense, he's got to make some serious rotation, some cutthroat decision making there. If you bring in a guy like Zadeh, Fala, obviously we would love to see Majid Hosseini in this lineup, and I think he would have played if he wasn't hurt, but he's out for the World Cup. So Zadeh, Fala have to be implemented in the lineup. I need to see Saman Fala play in the game against Costa Rica. The game against Costa Rica, you should, again, try to experiment. Maybe do something similar with the 5 in the back, but play some different personnel. Costa Rica are a lesser opposition. They are not the same team as that dark horse team in the 2014 World Cup it was. They have fallen off an absolute cliff. That is a game where Iran needs to dominate more possession, be more authoritative in the offense, and take it to them. I can understand that a little bit with Nigeria being a bit conservative because they have players that could absolutely punish you. I think that is a better World Cup sample size. But against Costa Rica, you need to boost confidence, morale, get that fitness going, more of that offensive chemistry building. That's what I want to see in that game. And now moving on to talking about Deniz Ekert, because so many of you were asking me about it. And he has officially been called up to the national team. He was a part of this camp. He's been training with the national team. And it looks like he could be set to be a part of Team Melli going into this World Cup. It's crazy because we've all been talking about it for years on end. When is Ekert gonna happen? Is it gonna happen? Is the Iranian Federation finally get the sticks out of their bums and finally get this guy on the team? Because he wants to play for us. He's cool with playing for us. Get his documents over the line. Let's make it happen. So first and foremost, it is clear as day, Ekert wants to play. He wants to be a part of this team for the World Cup. And I think that's a huge bonus. I think that is good. I don't think it's an absolute groundbreaking thing for us to get Ekert on the World Cup squad. I don't think it really changes a whole lot, but it does help our team that just 5%. And I think it is also nice to see us finally call up a dual national, as the last time we did that was Saman Quddus. That was like, what, 8-9 years ago now? So it is nice that we've finally done that. Obviously, it's been very much swept under the rug because of everything that's going on in the country. So it wasn't like very highly publicized or wasn't really talked about as much as it probably could have been if things were not going on in the country and other bigger topics were going on. The only thing that is left for Ekert is he cannot play with the national team until he heads to Iran, finalizes the switch, because all the documents are set in place. It can be set in stone. It's just a matter of him going to Iran and finalizing everything. He's training with the team, building that chemistry for the World Cup. He is learning the group, the players, what Qaranouny might want from him. So the steps are being taken. There's only one more window left, so he needs to get all of this finalized before that window, and then he can play for us. I think if you call up guys like Taremi, Azmoun, who I still believe will get called up for the World Cup, I'm very confident about that, Ekert, and maybe like a Gandipur, I think those are 4 forwards that can add a very good, healthy dimension, offensive capabilities off the bench, bring in something different if we really need to push for a goal, than guys like Moghalu. I still don't get why he's getting called up. He played in this friendly, but Ekert adds something different, adds a little different spice to this team, and I'm really happy to see that we've called him up, that he can likely be a part of our team for the World Cup, so I think that is a huge positive. But yeah, boys and girls, that's all my thoughts on this match against Nigeria. Obviously, we have our next friendly match against Costa Rica. I will be doing a post-match review for that game. I won't be going live, unfortunately, because the games are at 5 in the morning for me. That is way too early to go live, but I will have a match review out. But boys and girls, my opinion only matters so much. Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments down below. Smash the like button on this video. Again, another match review will be out on Tuesday for the match against Costa Rica. And if you guys enjoyed this video, don't stop watching now, as I have so many other fantastic videos on the channel. Click over here as the YouTube algorithm specifically recommended this video for you. So click this video next. Click over here as I post content weekly on the channel and you don't want to miss it. But boys and girls, I hope you'll have a lovely day.